Hey everyone, so I'm going to do some deck profiles of some of the decks I play, and I'm going to start with my green insects deck. This deck is by no means competitive, but it is pretty fun to play, so I like to bring it out for some casual games, and it usually does pretty well. So for the eggs, we will start with 4 copies of Digimon. What this does is whenever you attack, if you attack an opponent's Digimon, you get to draw 1. It's pretty straightforward. You're going to be doing that a lot, so it's always a good one to run. And the 5th egg is 1 copy of Digimon. And this is quite similar. Whenever you attack an opponent's Digimon, you get plus 1000 DP. You might want to tweak the ratios of these a bit, but this is how I currently run it. For the rookies, we are running 2 copies of Kukuwamon. This is quite an expensive one. It's a 1-drop Digivolve, but during your turn, while it's level 6 or higher, get security attack +1. It's pretty solid whenever you've got your big Digimon out. Next up is 3 copies of Terriermon, and this card's quite good for the current meta. All turns, your opponent can't gain memory except with tumor effects, so you'll see these being running quite a lot of decks. There's different color versions of it, like Chumon or Midoki Betamon. This is the green one, Terriermon. Up next, we've got 3 copies of Wormmon, which I'm not sure if that's the right ratio of these, but they do have a pretty good effect. On deletion, you get to reveal the top 3 and add a level 4 or 5 to your hand. So it's quite good in the pinch, just to swing in, get a security out, have this die, and get a search off it. We are running 4 copies of Tentomon from the Classic Collection. This has a pretty good inherited effect. Whenever you attack, if you Digivolve into an Insectoid or Ancient Insect, you get to reduce the cost by 1, which is pretty good for going into some of your bigger stuff where it gets quite expensive. And lastly, 1 copy of Tentomon from the green starter deck. On play, reveal the top card of your deck, if it's a green Digimon, add it to your hand, otherwise place it at the bottom of your deck. I used to run this at 3, but I've whiffed on it enough times that it's not worth running at 3. For the champions, and I do plan to tweak these a bit, we have got 3 copies of Stingmon. Stingmon has a very good inherited effect. Once per turn, whenever it deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle and survives, gain a memory. Very straightforward, pretty solid effect. We're running 4 copies of Kuwagamon from the Classic Collection. This is the only champion that costs 2 to Digivolve into. So it's quite expensive in the grand scheme of things, but it's got a very good effect. At the start of your turn, you get to suspend an opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less. And inherited effect, whenever this Digimon deletes one of your opponents in battle and survives, one of their suspended Digimon doesn't unsuspend during their next unsuspend phase. So it's quite a good control option. Next, we are running 3 copies of Kabuterimon. During your turn, inherited effect, it gains plus 1000 DP for every suspended Digimon your opponent has. It's pretty much just a tempo card. I'm considering switching these for 2 copies of the Kabuterimon from the green starter deck, the blocker. Yeah, these are just your standard 5k blockers. Not very strong against Jesmon, but for tempo, they're not too bad. For our ultimates, we are running a single copy of Argomon level 5, because we are only allowed to run 1 Argomon level 5. Similarly, we are running 1 copy of Blossomon. This just helps us to turbo into our bigger stuff. Obviously, I want Argomon more because it's got the better inherited effect, so if this ever comes off the list, I will probably swap Blossomon for just another Argomon. Then we are running 2 copies of Mega Kabuterimon from the Classic Collection. And this is pretty good. When attacking, you get to Digivolve into an Insectoid or Ancient Insect. It means if you don't have enough memory to Digivolve and then attack, you can do it while attacking. It's pretty good. It's almost like having Blitz, but not exactly. And then it has the same effect as Stingmon in its inherited, except it's not once per turn. So there's some pretty good combos you can do there. And lastly, 4 copies of Mega Kabuterimon from the starter deck. And this has a very strong inherited effect. Once per turn, whenever you delete an opponent's Digimon in battle and survive, trash the top card of the security stack. It's a solid effect. Can't really say anything else. For our megas, and we're running quite a lot of different megas, we are running a single copy of Bancho Stingmon. Very situational, but when it does come up, it's very powerful. In that same vein, single copy of Nidhoggmon. It goes a bit against the idea of the deck that it gets rid of all your opponent's suspended things, but it's pretty good as a control option just in case things do get out of hand. 2 copies of Hercules Kabuterimon from the green starter deck. Pretty good Digiverse to suspend 1. You could also run Lilamon from BT4, but trying to keep with the insect theme, I run these. And finally 2 copies of Grancoagamon from BT1. This is very good. It's an 11k Piercer that becomes 15k on your turn. So it's quite good for clearing out big things. Lastly, for level 7s, we are just running 2 copies of Chaosmon. It's pretty good. It essentially has Blitz, and it can only attack opponent's Digimon, but it can attack unsuspended ones. So if your opponent has a particularly problematic Digimon in play, Digivolve into this, swing at it, get rid of it, and then it also has Piercing. So if you build up a good enough stack, that'll be able to do quite a lot of damage to your opponent. For our teamers, we are running 3 copies of Mimi from BT1. She's very good. She is a memory fixer, so start of your turn, if you have less than 3 memory, you go to 3. And if you have a level 5 or higher, you can suspend her to hatch an egg into an empty space in the breeding area, or move a level 3 or higher Digimon from the breeding area to the battle area. So it's very good at rushing out a lot of smaller Digimon to get in some Rupee Rush strats. And lastly, for options, we have quite a variety of them. So we start with 2 copies of Green Memory Boost. This is just a solid option for setting this up, getting a search, and then finally giving yourself enough memory to get into something big on your next turn, because a lot of the green level 6s cost quite a lot of memory. So you'll maybe want to have this. I only wanted it 2, because I don't think it's worth drawing into or whiffing off some of your searches with this. We sadly only run 1 copy of Hidden Potential Discovered, because you only can. If this card wasn't on the ban list, this would be a 4-off, because it is just very, very good. If you can get out some smaller Digimon and then suspend them with its effect, get into some of your big stuff, it's just very good. But since we can't run 4 of those, I am running 3 copies of Win Rate 60%, which is kind of similar, not quite as good, but it does the job most of the time. So yeah, that's my insects list. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching.